You gotta be kidding me. Today I have my Cinelog 30 V3 with the DJI 04 Pro unit in it, and I'm gonna try to get some epic sunset footage with it. So we're gonna go full cinematic mode here and see what type of image quality we can pull from this little camera on board. First thing I'm gonna do is probably put my highest ND filter on, so that's ND32, and take a look at the settings inside of the actual camera. I love these ND filters from iFlight. They snap in real tight, and I'm not worried that they're gonna pop off at all. So those are the ND filters that we're using today. My ND32 is a little bit dirty, but should be fine. The sunset is pretty much at its peak right now. We're getting nice yellows, nice oranges popping through, so this should be a really good flight. I'm gonna clean my goggles off nice too, so I get the perfect picture coming out of them. Okay, and we are now recording. When I was fixing my drone earlier today, one of the motor wires here popped off from the flight controller, or the ESC. Gonna have to go home and fix that up. That sucks. It's gonna be such a nice sunset too. What can you do? So we're back here at the workbench, and as you can tell, that's the wire that snapped off from the ESC. So I wanted to take all of this apart and figure out how to get this prop guard and cage off. Then we're gonna have to solder back on the motor wire. So to start, let's try to get this cage off here. So it looks like we have 2 screws in the back here, 2 in the front. I'm guessing all 4 of these ones are gonna have to come off as well. We have 1 here, and then 1 here. Hopefully that's all that we need to do to take it apart. So let's start by doing that. Okay, so we got all 4 of those screws off there. Now let's move to these 2 back ones here. We also got a wire. It looks like it's the wire for like the LED. We'll go for these 2 front ones next. It looks like we got everything from the bottom of the drone done. So we're gonna flip the drone over now and get these 2 last ones out, and hopefully it just drops out. Okay, so that's all the screws on the top. And in theory, we should just be able to pop this right off like that. And then we have like the LED light connector, so we're gonna unplug that. And boom, we have it open. We just kind of take a look at this. It's kind of interesting to see how small this really is. So it looks like it's an all-in-one board, so the ESC and the flight controller are in one. But all we have to do is just take a little bit of this wire off and then tack it back onto the board here. Okay, so I'm just gonna plug in my soldering gun, get that warmed up, and then get my wire snippers and snip the wire just a little bit. Okay, so I have this little tool here. I've actually never used it before. I usually just use like snippers, but this seems like a lot safer, that I wouldn't be able to snip through the wire as easy, and I'm kind of terrified of snipping through this wire because it is short already. So what we're gonna do is carefully put it into the smallest hole here, take a little bit of that covering off so we can get metal and metal contact, put everything back together, and it should work. So I think this tool might be a little bit too big, like all of the attachments here might be too big, unless I can do something at the top here. So if I hold it like this, and we got it. Okay, so we got it perfectly. There's just a little bit of wire sticking out now, so now that rubber coating's gone, and all we have to do is attach it back onto the board. Okay, I think that's good. Let me just pull on it just a little bit. Doesn't look like it's going anywhere, so I think we're good there. So that's the new joint that we have there. I just kind of heated up like the old solder that was on there and attached the wire back on. It was this middle one here, so pulling on it seems to be good. I guess now we just put it back together and hopefully everything works again. Okay, so now to reassemble the prop cage here, we're going to just try to line everything back up, just like that. Then I think we're going to start with the 04 unit, because that seems like you have to kind of get it like perfectly lined up. Feels like it's catching on to the 04 unit there, so I keep plugging away at this. Okay, so the drone now is finally put back together. We're gonna plug a battery in and just spin the propellers and make sure everything functions. So it turns on, that's a good thing. Yep, all motors are spinning good, so success. Now it's time to go fly it outside and get that epic sunset. Just had to turn the camera back on. Obviously the sunset is gone now, but that's gonna be tomorrow. All right, so I tested the drone's motors and everything seems to be running fine, so it looks like we're good to start the drone and take it off. Oh, this is like super dark, eh? Cannot see anything. I might have to bring it in for a landing quick. Oh, it's like pitch black in here. I don't even know if I'll be able to land it. We're gonna go to auto settings on the camera. Yeah, everything on the drone seems to be flying well now. It sucks that I don't really have time to like adjust my camera settings and stuff too, since we're gonna lose the sunset real fast. Kind of start at the beginning of the line here. Go through it. Just make sure I'm always getting that sunset. And I can't really see if there's any like wires or anything in my way either. So we're just gonna like go straight and hope for the best. It still does look really nice though. Okay, so we're gonna bring this back in for a landing now. This is what you call a pretty unsuccessful flight for getting cinematic footage. What we will call this though is a test flight from all the stuff that we did to the drone. So the motor is being switched out, everything's working fine, so we'll just kind of call this a test flight. So this was a really good test flight, right? We weren't trying to get cinematic footage of the sunset. We didn't show up 30 minutes late for the sunset. With all that being said, we still got out, everything's working on the drone, so I can't complain about that. We're definitely gonna come back out, definitely earlier, test out some settings with the camera here, and try to see if we can get the best cinematic footage with this drone. If you're liking the journey so far, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and comment what you think.